The Lincoln Law Pod is a part of so many shows and discusses the events from each episode of The Lincoln Lawyer, which all 4 seasons are available now on Netflix. Before we get to our conversation on The Lincoln Lawyer, we wanted to pass along our condolences to Eric Overmeyer's family and friends. Before jumping on the podcast today, we found out that he had passed away. So as the time we're recording this, we just want to send out our condolences from so many shows, so many shows.com, so many mashups.
On behalf of all of us, me, Mike, Tracy, and Jay.
R.I.P. and sorry to hear that he's passed away. 74 years old. He was a powerhouse he was one of the core 3 for the showrunners for Bosch Legacy at the start. He's worked on dozens of other shows, projects, The Wire, and Homicide: Life on the Streets. So from all of us, we just want to pass along our condolences. All rise. The Lincoln Law Pod is in session. In this episode of the Lincoln Law Pod, we'll be discussing The Lincoln Lawyer, Season 4, Episode 8, titled Confirmation Bias. It was written by Ryan Hoang Williams and directed by Jennifer Lynch. In the wake of a violent attack, the sheriff's department, along with Maggie, Lorna, Judge Stone, and Dana Berg, all agree to allow Mickey to be housed in a different way. Izzy tracks down the green energy expert to get information from him. Before having to subpoena Gazarian, Cisco seems to be enjoying his assignment. And Lorna has a rough start to the prelim against Carter, but an idea pops in her head to turn the tide. Alrighty. Okay, Pete, welcome back to the Lincoln Law Pod. We haven't seen you all season long, so I'm glad you're able to jump on with us.
I'm glad to be here. I've been hiding out, just doing some mashups, but same channel, so many shows.com, so many mashups. Me and Mike actually handle that. Mike's been the big dog here with the actual breakdown podcast and, Sparks meters and games. So I'm excited to hand over the steering wheel and let Mike, kind of lead the way and steer me in for once, because I've been steering you for so long. I'm like, oh no, I hope I don't try to hijack this whole thing. So I'm just going to stay quiet. I'm here for color commentary. I'm not here for the review. So I know my role, people. So you will get some good shit coming out of me since you haven't heard a lot all season. But we did do, however, full disclosure, and it is a spoiler alert if you didn't finish The Lincoln Lawyer yet, we did a mashup of The Lincoln Lawyer on, I don't know if it's on YouTube or just the site,
YouTube.
But you can find that we break down the whole season in a small, just little bits and pieces of things that we found interesting or whatever in the mashup category. So just feel free to check that out. So many shows.com, so many mashups. But Mike, go ahead.
Sounds good. Well, before we get into our discussion on this episode, Pete, since Pete and I have done a bunch of mashup podcasts, we have developed a good system with leaving the fans wanting a little bit more with our approach with shows. And because of that, our discussion went by pretty quickly, especially with no game plan for this episode. So instead, to cover that time, I had the chance to interview showrunner Dailyn Rodriguez about things from the first 8 episodes of Season 4 of The Lincoln Lawyer. So I've included that at the tail end of this episode. So please stay tuned to hear what insights she gives our listeners about the Lincoln Lawyer season up to this point. Alrighty, I asked everybody else this question since episode 6. We discussed it on that So Many Mashups conversation where we lost Legal Seagull in the 6th episode. First off, what was your favorite Legal Seagull moment from any season or any episode? Anything that comes to your mind that was a favorite moment of yours?
Well, first of all, rest in peace, because that death in a TV show broke me.
Yes.
That was devastating. I didn't expect that. I expected a lot of other things, but not that at the moment. I feel like his latest work was the best when he told Lorna, you can't always think you're going to hit a home run. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, whatever you did with it, he broke it down like in baseball analytics, but at the end of the day, he's like, you're a winner in my book. That's a win. Like he was the way he explained it to her. That'll lead to my other thing, which is the thing I noticed actually out of this whole thing and the whole Lincoln Lawyer, and has nothing to do with any specific category, but Lorna, her education is top notch.
Yeah.
Because she's been on the Mickey for how long, and now she's working directly with Maggie.
Yep.
And she sees, and she's not only has she worked with these people, but she's also worked against the people they worked against.
Yeah.
So she has 2 educations on both ends. And I feel like that's, if we were going to, like we do with the show, We Make It Real, that would be oh my God, she's going to be the sickest lawyer ever.
Yes.
In 5 to 10 years, you're going to be writing books about her.
Yes,
So
definitely.
that's where they should go with it, if you want my opinion, but we'll get there.
Yeah, the character is different in the books. I think in the books she's still just the office manager for Mickey. So yeah, but Lorna's kind of filling in a role of another young lawyer that Mickey brings under his wing. So Lorna in the show is taking over that role.
Well, let me just stop you right there because I'm Pete, right? And I
Yeah.
don't care about the book.
Yes.
Right? Let's just get that out there. So I don't care how it compares to the book. I just know that Lorna's the shit, and there should be a whole book written about her, or a whole spin-off show about her and her legal
Yes.
things. The end.
Her and Cisco.
Yes, you do like a Housewives things where she handles divorce law, and it's a Netflix spin-off, limited series, 6 episodes. Cisco gets some for screen time. She calls in Mickey for a cameo. Come on, let's go, Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Spin off, spin off, spin off. Alrighty. And then the second question I was asking people was, so Legal Seagull was able to eat from a place of his own choosing as a final meal. So if you could pick a favorite place or a favorite meal, what would you pick as your final meal?
That is so tough. I mean, I want to say like, oh, I would get like, a chicken colored palm from my favorite, Italian place, or, boneless spare ribs from my favorite Chinese place, because like those are the favorite things. However, I'm not exposed to like rich lobster and steaks that melt in your mouth because I
Yeah.
don't go to those places. So I think if I had to pick any place and it was like, like your last meal and you're going to die, I think I would definitely look for like the most expensive, stupidest shit I could try ever before I'm going to, either die or whatever it is for a last meal.
Yes. All
So
right.
like I would look for the most expensive steakhouse in the world, or like, we'd have to fly the steak in from like a different country, like on a private jet, just something that I would never normally be, a privy to.
Yeah.
But if it was something that you normally eat, it would just be like, yeah, some Chinese food or something.
Yeah,
I mean, what I
exactly.
eat every day. Yeah.
And that'll lead me into the one. So we're just going to jump into our favorite moments or highlights of the episode here. So bringing up food, you mentioned Chinese food. I like the scene where Mickey and Maggie are sharing Chinese food, and she has that jerk chicken or whatever, and she's only giving them a little sample, little bitty piece. And I remember on our mashup podcast, you were saying something about, how does Mickey know all these good places? And Maggie even asks,
But
she
not even
asks
not,
him,
not not even how he knows these good places, how he knows what to get from these places. Because you can find the good food place. Okay, there's a great Italian place, but how do you know that their eggplant palm is the best than anybody else, or they have the best breadstick? Like, how do you know that somebody tell him and he picked up these clues along the way, or has he actually tried all those foods?
I'm pretty sure he's tried all those foods because he even says, when you work out of your car, you get around and you try a lot of places. So I'm guessing it's probably trial and error. It's like maybe he'll hear something, from somebody, go try it out, and based on their recommendation, then he'll try something new the next time. You never know,
But
but
that's
when you,
but that's my point. He wasn't like, oh well, this jerk chicken is amazing. How do you find these places? And he should have been like, yeah, if you have the boneless ribs from this place, it sucks. You
yes,
know what I'm saying? Like it's never bad talk. But I'm glad you brought that up because yes, we did talk about that in our mashup, and I do want to bring to the point of actually what I was thinking during that moment was they made that was when he made that joke, right? When she goes, I miss having like these moments with you or these meals with you, and he says, oh, do you miss my charm or whatever or my personality? And they held hands.
yep,
And there's a moment where you're like, oh no, they're going to kiss. Or, oh yes, depending on who you are. However, she's still actively involved in a relationship.
yep,
So, it gets real sticky. And I'm really glad that they didn't go there right at this moment, because I feel like that would have been like, oh my God, Lincoln Lawyer's got drama written all over it. Oh my God, Real Housewives of Lincoln Lawyer, whatever, blah, blah, blah. However, I'm glad they didn't, because it shows, that Mickey's a little bit of, still has a little, and that she has some restraint. And like, don't get me wrong, if that phone doesn't ring, what happens? We don't know.
yeah, yeah.
But
We
I
don't
want
know.
to, but I want to think, and I want to appreciate the writers not giving us that sticky drama where Mickey looks like unethical and does like a piece of shit move, which is, even though it's your ex-wife and you both love each other, and yeah, we all want you to do it,
Yep,
she's got to go tell the other dude to fuck off first.
yes, exactly.
So that's where I'm at.
So yeah, that was one of my questions is, do you think if the phone had not rung, would they have tried maybe kissing, but then they would have regretted it, and then there would have been the awkwardness afterwards. So alrighty, what do you have for a favorite moment off the top of your bat there?
So there was a couple of moments that all was similar. I liked when Cisco was talking, when Cisco and Lorna were having the fight, and they were about to both trying to text each other.
Yes,
But like she's at work and he's in a robe having like, I guess, his tea,
yes,
like looking all
coffee or
sophisticated,
tea.
which is
Yes,
totally not him.
yes,
And it's like he's sitting there, he's like, you wouldn't even believe me, I'm gonna come back better. And he's like resting, he's like having like a respa at the same time he's stalking, this guy.
Gazarian, yep.
Which leads me to my other favorite part of the episode, which is the end.
Yep.
When because in my mind I'm like, yo, they're gonna kill this guy right now. And
Yep.
then as the scene starts, and you can see my hands as they start to visualize because they start to do a fade away. So as you see more of the building, you're like, this guy's coming down.
Yep, definitely.
And then here, boom, and you're like, but then you also realize the ramifications.
Yeah.
That this guy's no longer there to testify. So Mickey's.
Yeah, hopefully not. Jeez, that's
We don't know.
Obviously, they needed him to testify, so now it's just going to be another hurdle they got to try to jump over to figure out how to defend Mickey. So yes, it's going to be interesting. It's a very downer ending of an episode there. But I did, like you, I did see it. I'm like, okay, they're showing way too much of the building to not have something happen. So.
Yeah, something crazy is about to go down.
Exactly. Alrighty. When my daughter and I were watching the episode, I don't know if you caught on too, or my daughter had said something about the start of the episode, Mickey being in that solitary confinement or the shoe, single housing
With
unit.
The dripping of the water.
Dripping of the water. My daughter said it was
is,
like psychological torture or something like that on him.
That's so funny because I actually have it written down here and I noticed it right away. The visual effects of it's not that you write a scene, okay, Mickey's in solitary confinement, water dripping on the thing, but the way they filmed it.
Yes.
They nailed it. So hats off to whoever's in charge of, the little details of the scene and making it look the way they wanted to make it look, because it looked realistic. It got to the point of this guy is going to lose his mind.
And he does briefly there too.
Yes, briefly, very quickly, because we see everybody forgets that Mickey has a temper to begin with.
Yep.
So just because we haven't seen it this season, because he's trying to be ethical, because he's trying to keep his composure. Just look at in this episode alone when he's testifying what he said to the guy. Oh, you'll be dead by us if you don't, like.
Yes.
He's not exactly a nice guy all the time either. So it's like,
well, everybody has their breaking points, and Mickey being in the shoe all weekend long really tipped him to
only for a weekend. They put some people in there for 60, 90 days for doing some stupid shit.
That's crazy because like they were saying when they approached the judge, that they lost the whole weekend of prep because because the riot broke out.
They couldn't even see him. Yeah,
they couldn't even see him. So I do like how they reluctantly all agreed, or I don't know if maybe Dana was still fighting the tooth and nail, but they decided to release him on house arrest for the duration through the trial. So I love that factor that at least then he'll be able to sleep in his own bed.
But Dana did that as a tactic because the more freedom you give this guy, the more it looks like he's not guilty, maybe.
Yeah.
Because if you had stone cold evidence this guy had a gun on his person, then you would definitely not let him out, thinking he might hurt somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yes. the visual of it, I could see where, Dana has to keep, nor does she want Mickey sitting there, digging up stuff, knowing how good he is and how many tricks he has up his sleeve.
Yep, definitely. And I do like how Mickey's new driver seems to be a ray of sunshine. He's assigned a deputy to drive him to and from the court and home, and that's all he can do is be, he can't go out on his own or anything like that. So he's under house arrest until through the trial. But like I said, this driver isn't too cheerful. It's like, get in the car. It's like, yes, sir. Oh, man. Speaking of that temperament that you were talking about earlier, the other scene that caught my attention was when Jessica, and I'm glad I called that last season. I knew that scene was going to come into play the way Jessica reacted when Mickey had spouted off, if you don't pay us, you're dead. I knew that was going to come into play. I'm glad I got to see that play out. But Mickey at first was going to get up to ask her to do the cross-examination, and Maggie kind of like grabs his, not forcefully, but kind of touches his arm, says, I'll take this, and try to calm down. It's not playing well with the jury, so you got to not look so mad. Don't
look so mad, yeah.
Yes. So what else do you got on your notes?
Okay, so I see, here's my thing. In the beginning of the season, so what was her name? Andrea from last season?
Andrea Freeman, yes.
Yes. Okay. So now she's like somebody in this thing, right? Like in this, because in the beginning he said, I don't want to call her.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. When you're in the situation that he's in, and I think I said this on the mashup too.
Yeah.
I don't even like her as a viewer.
Yes.
Unfortunately, here's the cold, hard
truth.
I didn't want to see more of her. But in the situation you're in, I don't care how ethical you want to be. I said this in my mashup, and you guys can go there or you can hear it here. Mickey's stupid. He should take it off on the technicality in episode 1 or 2, whatever it was. and he should have called Andrea as soon as he could. And if he didn't, Maggie or Lorna or Cisco or anybody else should have called her in and at least have her come in and say, hey, listen, this is what we can do for you from my office, but I can't get you out of this. But this is what we can do to help you because I know that kind of guy you are, but I can't get and step in because it's something. But
Conflict
the
of
fact that he
interest.
kept
Yep.
her, the fact that he kept her out of it is like, okay, now we revert to the books. Is she in the books any further?
No.
So that might be it
She
for
was
that
only
character.
she was only in the book that one season that was used for season two of that book, the
Which I also found
Fifth
weird because
Witness.
she's Maggie's friend. So you would think at least, hey, show a scene of her walking past or talking to Maggie. How's Mick? Oh, hold, and then
Yeah,
that's it. They
I
didn't even
know,
they cut her out of the whole mix and everything.
I know. I thought for sure because when we heard that she wasn't going to be a series regular or a regular in this season, I thought they'd at least have her in by now. I'm
Especially with
still
the
holding out
situation that
hope.
he's in.
Yes, I'm still holding out hope that 9 or 10 you might get to see her yet. Maybe
Oh,
she'll
so
take
so
you
you
by the
think
voice.
that so you think that there's a possibility that she can come in on like the 12th hour, the 11th hour,
Yeah.
and
Well,
be
not
like,
really.
well, on
Maybe the
behalf of my
12th
office,
hour.
this is what we're doing and shit.
Maybe at the 12th hour. We know Mickey's not going to be found guilty, but I'm just hoping we see it, like you said, a phone conversation, something where she calls him up saying, "Hey, I'm so glad you're able to beat this. I knew you were innocent all along, blah blah blah." And
Yeah, that's my only real beef about the series so far is that that he should have utilized all his resources.
exactly. Definitely, definitely. The one scene that I loved watching the first time through and even more the second and third time as I was watching for these podcasts is Izzy meets with the Arthur Schultz, the BioGreen EPA expert.
Yes.
And the actor is actually Adam Shapiro. And I actually got to meet him on my set visit that one day, even though I was there for episode 10. He was there. He has a side gig of making pretzels. At least one of his side gigs is making pretzels. He's not just a guest star, but he's been in shows like The Bear as well in a few handful of episodes if anybody's watched those episodes. But he makes really good homemade pretzels. And I remember because we got to chat with him for a little bit. I remember him telling people around us, it's like trying to find yeast during the pandemic was like
Uh,
almost like making back alley deals. He felt like he was making back alley deals just to get yeast to make pretzels. So
trade
it's
you
kind of
five gold
funny
coins.
story, huh?
I'll trade you 5 gold coins for some
Yeah,
yeast.
exactly. So I like how Izzy's kind of taking the charge here, finding, potential witnesses for the defense as well.
Well,
So
that was they had two different court cases going on at once in this episode, which I
yeah, I
thought was
know you had
interesting.
Lorna's case, you had Mickey's case. It's funny too, because I actually got to interview Paula Garces for episode 9. Anyways, they use the same courtroom, they just dress it up differently for the two different cases. So they use
Yeah.
the same set, but they dress it up a little bit differently for each court scene. Let's see here. Did that one. So it's your turn. What else do you got?
I mean, that was really it. Like I said, we had the two different court cases. We know Lauren is going to figure it out, but how?
Yes. Well, she
You
seemed to
know,
have an idea at the end of the episode there, so I'm curious to see what light bulb went off in her head when Izzy was saying we got to take a different look at this type of thing.
I know you did ask me what my favorite character of the season was so far, and I do like the guy that was his protection in jail. What's his name?
Bamba.
Yeah, Bamba. So he's been my guy so far. Yeah, no, just so far, he helped him out. He looked out for Mickey when he needed to, and
Yes,
he did what he's getting paid to do.
definitely.
And that's
Uh,
interesting that even Mickey needs us, security.
well, up through episode 5, I didn't really care for the character because it like right at the beginning, it's like he's sitting in his cell. It's like, was he even watching over Mickey as Mickey gets pushed
You
off
thought
the
he was gonna let
railroad?
Mickey get shanked or something, yeah.
Exactly. And then episode 5, it's like he's blaring his music. He cares more about the music than driving Mickey in that low riding car and driving over speed bumps, making
Yes.
sparks fly. But yes, he did have that redemption arc in episode 7. Yeah, right. The last episode we discussed it on
Yeah, it was the
Valerie and
last
Tracy and
scene,
I.
yeah.
The last scene where Bamba gets the guy that's trying to attack Mickey off of him, and Bamba starts getting attacked.
And
I'm
that's the
hoping that
so-called
Bamba's
riot.
yeah, exactly. Well, I'm hoping Bomba's okay now. It's like, yeah, I crapped on him pretty much all year, but now that he now that he actually helped protect Mickey, I'm like, oh, I hope nothing bad happens to him. Yeah, so Dana throws a couple curveballs in this episode. First one being Jessica Westfeld, and I love how Maggie got her testimony knocked down. It's basically she's only testifying because she's pissed because she interned at Mickey or Holler and Associates, and now she can't find a job because he's on trial for murder. And then the second curveball she throws is she has Mickey step into a trap where he's cross-examining Drucker, and Drucker had come across some kind of email or something that led to a website thing
Yes.
for donations to be donated to a charity, but obviously Sam Scales is running a scam as always, scam and Scales as always. So
And
yeah, he stepped into that.
they don't know if the scam and that's Scales was doing is even involved. You know what I'm saying? But that's where the rabbit hole is leading.
Exactly.
We're not even there yet. Like we're still trying to figure out how Mickey's gonna get out of this, how Lorna like we're this was episode 8.
Yeah, there's still two more episodes to go.
So
We
you
still
think a
haven't
lot
need.
of crazy shit's gonna happen over the next 2 episodes. I mean, and on top of that, it's not even like okay, he's gonna bring this guy in for episode 9. He's gonna get him off, with the testimony, Alex Gagritsky or whatever his name is, and then in episode 10, this is gonna be the setup for the next season. No, we don't know where we're at.
I know. Still two more episodes. We haven't seen the defense, but I know Maggie had said something about, she sees that Dana would probably end her side of the case the next day. They just had to survive this type of thing. Oh, that's the other thing too. They were talking about a potential October surprise on Dana's part. So I don't know if this email thing was going to be that October surprise or Jessica being, called as an October surprise,
Or
but
does she have another October surprise that we're gonna see next episode?
I think so because the next episode is titled October Surprise. So,
Well, then I guess it
so
wasn't what happened this episode, Mike. Duh.
exactly. I know. Alrighty. Any other notes from you on the favorite moments or anything like that?
Just really more like I said, I like the Cisco aspect, as he's chasing down this couple and he's kind of just stalking them the whole time, and then they see the bad guys. He's like, "That's just it. There's something wrong. These bad guys, I don't think, he seemed more scared of them than I am."
Yes.
And then boom, shakalaka. So
Yeah. Did you spot right away that was Jeanine pushing the laundry cart past Cisco when he went to
I
go
knew,
deliver?
yeah, I knew that. I knew there was a trick right away. I was like, they're scheming to get out of there. Once he said, let's get out of there, I was like, they're scheming that, they're smart criminals. I'm just surprised that Cisco even fell for it the first time.
Yeah, me
He's
too. I
normally
was
pretty good with that,
surprised.
yeah.
I was surprised too. You would have thought he would have caught on a little quicker, but at the same time, it led to that nice chase scene with the car and the mini and everything. And it was funny that way. But at the same time, not funny how it ends because obviously it took Cisco too long to figure out what was going on with those two goons, unfortunately. So
Yeah, by the time he figured it out, it was over.
yeah, over for Gazarian. That's for sure.
So now, yeah, I guess he goes back empty-handed, right? Oh no, he's got to go find the girl
Yeah, he's definitely got to go find the girl now.
because they're probably going to kill her next because they didn't kill her in this episode, right?
Nope, she was still alive.
So
She was
then,
heading
yeah, I
down to the
mean,
pool, unless the goons got her on the way down to the pool.
I feel like they would have showed us that,
Yeah,
considering they just
probably.
showed us a guy falling through a car.
Yeah, considering the end of the episode, well, pretty
But
much on that front.
but
But
yeah, who knows where she's at, and if maybe they get her. Maybe that's the start of the next episode. It's like, hey, look, there's the girl, Pop.
yeah,
The girl's
exactly,
dead. Bye bye. We don't know, so it's not a spoiler alert. It's just Pete talking shit alert.
exactly. Yeah, we all like to talk and have fun in our conversations. It's always a fun thing. Oh, I just wanted to kind of bring up Lorna's prelim trial quickly here. So I know we touched on a little bit that she had a kind of a rough day in that courtroom because the community security guard was called to testify after I think Rashad Harrison, the witness, quote unquote, who was hiding in the storeroom. But
Yeah.
the community security guard testified that he tried administering CPR on Gary, who was Carter's business partner, and apparently that he claims this security guard testified in court saying that Gary had said the word Carter or what sounded like Carter as he was trying to do CPR. So that was a huge hit on Lorna for her prelim trial. So, but like we said at the end of the episode, Izzy was saying something about what are the chances Gary would live long enough to ID the shooter, and Lorna calls someone to get an assist, but we
Listen,
don't know
that
who
don't
she's
matter.
called up yet.
They're not going to show you Lorna in a court case and that she's going to lose. She's obviously going to win. She's going to use one of Mickey's tricks or figure it out or use, something. Maybe there'll be like a legal beagle flashback where like something he
Oh,
says triggers her and then all of a sudden she's like, that's it, I got it. Or maybe something it looked like what something Izzy said my triggers. Like we don't know.
yes.
But I know she's not losing this case.
I don't see it happening. She can't take another loss. We saw her take a loss a few episodes back with the lady claiming that the vegan donuts weren't vegan and she apparently ate two. And then, so that was kind of a bust. And then she actually got a win for the other divorce client. And she kind of got a win for Bamba, but it was kind of but Bamba still has to serve time. So
which is not going to be good
unfortunately.
for him.
No, but at least like Legal said, he'll be out in under a year. So hopefully,
If he gets out.
if he gets out, hopefully he
Listen,
does.
man, if there's one thing I know, they don't let you leave gangs that easily.
True, but he is
And once,
making the
yeah,
effort. So
but once you start like he's in jail, he's already made enemies, right? Now
true.
he starts getting, stop hanging with the people that protect you at this point. You can even make it a year.
Well, I hope so. I don't
And we
want to
know
see
cops don't
Bamba's
like him
character.
because didn't he get in trouble for calling the cop like a curse or something over like
Well,
the
he said
stupidest
something
thing?
about shove it up your butt sideways or something like that.
Yeah, over the stupidest thing. So like I said, I don't think it's gonna work out very well for him. That's my dude. Listen, I hope he's out and I hope
Yes.
he's working for Mickey soon enough, but not right now.
Yeah. I want to see him back as long as he survived this attack that he had. So your character spotlight was Bamba. I love that choice, by the way, because like I said, I've been hating on him all season long, so it's kind of good to see him get some love. So I don't want to cheat as being a Mickey or Maggie as my character spotlight. So I know other people have given this guy love too, but Judge Stone
He's the man.
throughout these 8 episodes has been really playing both sides really fairly and even and equal. So I love seeing that, especially at the start of the episode when everybody's talking about what should be done with Mickey. And he goes, well, this is a cluster. And they cut him off before he says the entire F
Yeah.
word, which was hilarious. I love that scene. I like how it was written and cut and edited. So it was
You know,
awesome to
the,
see
the, the
that.
judge, I thought for sure that the judge was going to be like a jerk to Mickey throughout the season, but it's really been like he's really awesome. So I mean, we mentioned in the mashup too. That's one of my favorites of this whole
Yeah.
season is the judge also.
Yep. Bamba and Judge Stone. Kudos to you.
Hell of a combo.
Alrighty. Well, let's get to our Sparks meter and then we'll try to wrap this up. So, what do you have for your Sparks meter for this episode?
Since it's the only episode that I will be podcasting this season with you guys as far as in-depth coverage, I will give it a 5.
Nice. I
So
remember you
even if I
saying
didn't
that
think
in
it
the
deserved a
mashup.
5, I'm just going to give it a 5 anyway. So it gets 5 sparks.
Glad to hear it. I had it a 4.75, just not too shy or south of yours. Great episode, great ending. We got some answers. I think both prosecution and defense kind of hit singles or doubles. Dana made some points, but also kind of some of the testimony kind of went kitty wampus a little bit, especially Jessica's. I think they really scored some points with Jessica's cross-examination being.
They go back and forth because Dana
Yes.
brings up a good point, and the ballistic expert,
Yes.
and then solidified her point, and then Maggie had her point, and he solidified that point. So it's a chess game.
Yeah. Chess or checkers, either way. Or is it backgammon? Who knows? It's one of those games, game of the minds type of
Yeah.
thing. Awesome. And that'll wrap up the discussion with Pete and I on this episode of The Lincoln Lawyer, Season 4, Episode 8. Stay tuned after our goodbyes to hear part 1 of 2 of the interview with showrunner Dailyn Rodriguez. You can listen to part 2 at the end of our Season 4, Episode 10 Lincoln Law Pod to close out the season. And with that, Pete, let's say our goodbyes. Pete, I can't thank you enough for joining us for this Episode 8 discussion. I'm glad to hear your voice for the first time in the Lincoln Law Pod, and I'm looking forward to so many mashups with you down the road here as well. So I appreciate your time, and let's say goodbye.
It's been a pleasure. Peace, everybody, to the next season.
Alrighty. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you on the next one. So many shows, I was able to sit down with co-showrunner Dailyn Rodriguez to ask her questions we had from season 4 of The Lincoln Lawyer, which is available now on Netflix. Dailyn, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule for this interview. You wear a lot of hats for The Lincoln Lawyer, co-showrunner, writer, director. Any other hats that you wear for the production?
I mean, no, not really. I mean, people do like to, I have a nickname that follows me from my last show. People call me La Jefa, which means the boss. but I am a co-boss, but it
Nice.
stuck around with me.
That's funny. Now I know these questions are kind of they're all season 4 specific, so I apologize for the timing on it because you guys are already diving into season 5 already. So I hope you can remember some of the moments that I bring up
I hope
here.
so. Yeah.
Mainly the opening shot of season 4. I just loved it, how it was like a downtown LA look, and then it kind of zooms out to a suburb of LA, and then you see a shot going down to a street and then into a bullet hole of a bakery. I was just kind of curious how you guys got all those shots filmed.
Yeah, it was a combination of drone work and helicopter work.
Nice.
So we did a lot. It was the first time we used a helicopter, which was pretty cool. And like basically at some point, once you get towards the shooting and where the tree is and the bakery, at some point sort of it hands off to a drone, and then the rest of that is a drone shot.
Well,
And and some special effects and all that jazz.
well, very. It seems seamless. So I'm like, but I'm like
There's a
at
lot of
the same time.
choreography. It's very complicated and very expensive.
Oh,
But yeah.
well, thank you, Netflix, for footing the bill for those.
Yeah.
The other question I had was there's quite a bit of jail scenes, obviously, in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Did anybody get a look inside the Twin Towers or the module that Mickey was being held in for kind of trying to create the sets to be a
Yeah,
part
I
of it?
mean, our Andrew, our production designer, does all the research for all that stuff before he designs it. We actually couldn't shoot there, obviously, so
Yeah.
it was a set that we build on our stages, and so it's a replica basically of what that looks like
Okay.
inside. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see the set, part of the jail set when I got my set visit day
Oh yeah. Hmm.
last summer. So, because it was before tearing them down. So, unless you guys are reusing them, who knows? But
We use parts of the jail stuff sometimes, because that is the nature of our show.
yeah, and Mickey's always in and out of jails talking to his clients or soon to be clients. So
100%. Yeah.
nice. And what kind of permissions were involved with getting like closer up to the jail? We see some exterior shots of the jail. Did you guys have to ask
Yeah, it
special
was pretty
permission?
cool this season. They actually were really excited to work with us this season. We tried in the past, and then I guess there was somebody new in charge that was a big fan of the Lincoln Lawyer. And actually, that was, I think, the first time we shot. It was my episode in 407. We shot inside the visitation part where like people are waiting to go in to visit their loved ones, and
Yeah.
Lorna comes out and has that phone call. That was the first time we were able to shoot there, and that's the real location. Basically, if I remember correctly, there's like 2 days out of the week that only lawyers go in and out, and there are no family members. So it's easier to shoot on those days. And if memory serves, that's why they let us shoot that day. But they've been much more amenable to us this season. They also let us shoot where Mickey comes out, where they release all the people who have bailed out of jail or have been found innocent and are coming out. We did it with Carter Gates, and then we did it with Mickey also. So they were just really, they oddly enough, even though it's the sheriff's department, they love this. They love this show, even though we talk shit about it. I don't really get it, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, speaking of which, it's like I was doing the math with season 4 being, Mickey making enemies with the sheriff's department, FBI,
Yeah.
and the jail in general. It's like season 5 is going to be based off of Resurrection Walk, where once again Mickey's making
It's
enemies with the
it's
sheriff's
it's
department, FBI.
actually, if I could be totally honest with you, Mike, it's loosely based on
Loosely.
Resurrection Walk. Yeah, we have to be careful. I know that they put that out there, but I don't want to promise too much to the fans
Oh,
because of exactly what you said. We kind of had to go away a little bit from some of that story because it's too similar to what we just did in season 4.
oh,
So we'd be repeating ourselves. So we've taken some of the fact pattern of the crime and some aspects of Resurrection Walk, but it really is a much looser adaptation than we've done before on any of
oh.
his books,
Okay, that's
just
good.
because we were trying to avoid repetition.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
when I interviewed Matthew, he was saying that you guys are kind of going a little further away from the books with each passing season. I love that because then it's not exactly the same thing. It's like
yeah,
there was moments in season 4 where I'm like, oh, here comes this, and it was something totally different. I'm like, oh, never mind.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we've said this before. It's like we have to modernize some of the stuff because the books are a little dated at this point,
Yep.
and some stuff just doesn't work on TV the way that it works in a novel. Like, for example, the Law of Innocence is a really internal book. It's very like Mickey's in jail, and he's in jail for almost the entire book. We couldn't do that, so
Yeah.
we had to change that up because that's just not the nature of our show. We can't just have Mickey depressed in a cell for
Yes.
for 10 episodes. So like there's certain things you have to do to be able to dramatize a novel. And so a lot of times you have to go away. And like I said, we just did this whole thing with the sheriff's department. We can't then do another season where like, oh, there are gangs in the sheriff's department. Well, kind of pretty obvious because we kind of saw that in season 4,
Yes. Well, that's great to hear. Let's see here. I don't know if you might not know this. I'm hoping you do. I saw a couple instances where Mickey is having or sharing dumplings with either he's eating them by himself before he gets a hold of Maggie while she's at the Lakers game, and then they're eating, him and Haley are sharing dumplings later on. Are those the octopus dumplings that were mentioned back in season 2?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's just generally another LA restaurant. And I don't think we were specific about that one,
Well, that's good to hear because I was just curious because I'm like, oh, is this a callback? Because I asked my co-hosts on episode 2 and when I saw that scene, or episode 3, when I saw that scene, I'm like, oh, I wonder if those are the octopus dumplings, but it's all good. My mind just kind of always wondered about callbacks.
Yeah.
So I remember back in season 1, you guys had difficulty with Trevor Elliott's car, and I was curious if the Dodge truck that Cisco is driving in season 4 was as bad as it seems on camera, or did you guys just kind of make it rougher looking when it's like trying to drive up hills and stuff like that?
It's pretty rough.
It is pretty rough.
The car's pretty rough. I mean, it's meant to feel like he bought it for nothing off a gardener. So yeah, it's pretty rough. I mean, it runs and it does the job, but it's a pretty rough car. Yeah.
Okay. And will we see that in episode or season 5, the truck?
As of right now, we are not seeing the truck. I think the truck may have died.
And
I think he's back on his motorcycle because the truck didn't make it.
Okay, good. Well, any chance to see Cisco riding his Harley is always a good thing. So
it is.
And let's see here, just as a funny kind of question, how many paletas were lost in the filming of season 4?
Oh boy, how many paletas were lost? A few. I mean, Manuel really liked eating that paleta. I don't know. We probably dropped. I was only there for half that filming day, so I don't actually. You would have had to have asked Matthew. He would have probably known how many, but probably at least 5.
Okay,
like we're probably lost to the ground. I think.
And did you know what Manuel or what Mickey sprinkles on? Is that
it's a very common Mexican thing that they do, and also they do in LA because of our Mexican culture that's so huge here. It's called tajin, and it's like this spicy mix that they put a lot. I don't know if you saw it at all when you were in LA visiting, but there's a lot of those fruit trucks all over the place.
Yes, which
is really common, and it's usually you get a fruit thing, which like with jicama and like other fruit, and then they put the tajin on it. And so like, it's Tajin. And then, so he put a little bit on the lemon paleta. So it's like a common, they add like a tiny little bit of spice to it. Yeah.
Awesome. Cause Pete and I were trying to figure out if it was hot sauce or something. So it's
kind of like powder. It's like in a powder form.
Okay. Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cause we're, like I said, we're kind of discussing. It's like, I don't know. The bottle kind of looked like this, but alrighty. And we're going to kind of end on 2 sadder note kind of questions for this first half of our interview here. Were any other restaurants discussed for Legal Seagull's final meal restaurant? We know that Langer's was his choice. You got the number 19 with side of Russian dressing. So I was just kind of curious if any other restaurants were discussed.
No, we wanted to shoot in Langer's, and we felt like it was the most character specific. That's where he would want to eat if he was downtown.
Okay.
It's such like an LA landmark, so we always had Langer's on our mind. We didn't even scout anything else, so It was always Langer's. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that because Langer's is top-notch pastrami sandwiches for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. So I just figured I'd ask you if you had a choice to eat a meal or from any restaurant as a final meal. If you had a choice, what would that be?
If I had a choice,
yes,
where I would eat as my final. Oh my God!
I know. Sorry,
I don't know. That is terrible. I don't know how to answer that. Did he have an answer for this? Did Matthew have an answer for this?
Matthew said Langer's would be a good choice. For me personally, I said if I had to choose like a restaurant, I'd choose the Smokehouse for the garlic bread and the steak Sumatra.
And it has to be an LA restaurant.
It doesn't have to be an LA. Well, it doesn't have to be an LA restaurant. If you could pick a restaurant or just a meal in general from somewhere as a final meal, what would you pick?
I mean, in my world, I would probably go to a very nice French bistro and have a bowl of mussels and French fries as
Oh,
my last meal,
nice.
because that's one of my favorite things in the world. But
Nice.
and if there's an American French restaurant that has them as good, then I would probably eat them there. But my husband makes it, so he makes it. Whenever I'm having a bad day, he makes me some mussels.
Oh,
So
that's sweet.
yeah, that's my thing. I don't eat beef, so steakhouses are out for me. And
Okay.
and diners aren't going to happen for me either. But like, I'd probably eat a seafood meal somewhere is really my thing.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And SMS was really sad to see legal go, but at the same time, we had a sentiment that in the book he kind of had dementia towards the end. So we loved the send off that he had. The writers in general, I didn't see the twist coming when Lorna gets that phone call and we think it's Cisco, and then
Yeah,
he
it
breaks the
was a good
news to
twist.
Mickey.
Yeah.
My heart sank. So
Mhm.
so incredible writing and incredible job on that
Thank
specific
you.
episode ending there for everybody involved in that. So this will end our first half of our interview. I appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to finding out what other questions I have here for answers for the last 3 episodes of the season. So have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later.
You just want to say thank you so much. It was nice talking to you.
Yes. Thank you. And with the conclusion of the interview with Dailyn Rodriguez, that'll wrap up our discussion about this episode of The Lincoln Lawyer, which all 4 seasons are available on Netflix. We thank you for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Lincoln Law Pod, which is a part of So Many Shows and SoManyShows.com. The website is currently undergoing maintenance, so for the time being, you can find this podcast and others on the So Many Shows YouTube channel. While there, keep an eye open for constantly dropping mashup podcasts in which we discuss a variety of shows. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us on our socials at Lincoln Law Pod on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find up-to-date news and podcast drops on the Lincoln Lawyer Lounge on the Facebook group page. We will reconvene as soon as possible for the next episode, so stay tuned. Thank you for joining, and talk to you on the next one.